to me, you have somebody that doesn't know much about the game, who isn't even a good competitor, who's kind of like ditzy, versus somebody who knows a ton about the game, who's been a really strong competitor. Who are you going to get rid of, Laura? So it's like, Ronnie tried, but after he tried to sell me out, I was like, he tried to talk to me beforehand, but once he sold me out, I was like, look, enough is enough. I'm tired of your lies. And, hindsight's 20/20 because I didn't even know that he was trying to sway their vote. All I knew that he was up there doing was lying. I wasn't aware until today that he'd actually approached them about switching their votes. But I saw that nobody had a part of that anyways. Everybody was like, no.
I tend to agree with you, Laura. I'm not buying it. I think that Ronnie just loves to stir the drama so much that he just was trying to. And then it gave him the perfect opportunity to say that Russell. Yeah, exactly. But I do have another question for you. We were talking about this last night, and the fact that whoever won the first HOH got an extra team member. How do you feel about that? And do you think that that team has an unfair advantage because they were able to start the game with an extra team member?
I think obviously the athletes have an unfair advantage. Not only did they have somebody that's getting a redo in this game, so is obviously going to play smarter, but they're getting a fourth teammate. I've always felt like I kind of got a bad deck of cards, so to speak, when I got my team. I love Braden and I love Jordan. They were both super nice to me. They're great people personally, but neither of them know really anything about the game. Neither of them were extremely strong competitors. So it was just kind of like me against the rest of the house the way I felt. Neither Jordan and Braden never talked to me about the game, never really kind of tried to strategize. And when I would try to strategize, I don't know if you got to see much of it because I don't know if it was aired, and it was definitely before the feed started. They were kind of like, yeah, we'll talk about that later in the game. Like, it kind of seemed like they were there for different reasons than I was. So I thought the athletes had a extremely stronger advantage than anybody else. If we would have had Jessica, I think we would have been a lot better off.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Laura, had you stayed last night and it was Jordan who was evicted, and hypothetically speaking, if you had won HOH, who would you have put up?
I would have put up Jessie and Natalie and I would have been completely happy if either of them went home, and I would have loved to backdoor Ronnie. Any of those three would have been perfect, but I would have put up Jessie and Natalie, definitely hands down.
So Jessie and Natalie would have been your targets before Ronnie?
Probably, because at this point I think Ronnie is, if I was in the house, half of that wouldn't have happened. If I knew I wasn't going, half of this week wouldn't have gone down. So, I think that Ronnie is easier to get out. He may know a lot about the game, and he may be able to manipulate people, but I don't really think he can beat me in many challenges. I mean, Jessie and Natalie, I think, are bigger fish to fry for me personally because I already don't believe Ronnie. He wouldn't have been able to manipulate me anymore. He can manipulate the rest of them, apparently, but, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. It wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, it would have been Jessie and Natalie.
Again, so sorry that you were out of the game so quickly because I really think that you were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, do you think that when you went up and confronted the athletes, and I know you did it out of emotion and anger, do you think had that not happened, you still would have been a target?
That's really hard to say. I don't think I would have been as big of a target as I am, or was, I should say. That's kind of one of those things. One of my strategies going into the game, I said I was going to play emotion-free. But once you walk in those doors, it's so much harder to do. And I had just taken it and taken it and taken it. And, they were being dishonest with me. They were making deals with many other people they weren't telling me about. And shit met fans, so to speak. And I couldn't deal with it anymore. I was like, I can't take this. And I just confronted them. Natalie came down there and kind of tried to bully me into voting for Shima, and I was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. And yeah, hindsight's 20/20. I kind of wish I wouldn't have blown up and shown my ass, so to speak, but it's too little, too late. So what can you do?
Laura, I don't know if you know this yet, but I wanted to get your opinion.
Hey guys, it's Colleen. Last question. We have to move on.
Okay. Some of the house guests weren't as forthcoming when they entered the house as telling the truth. Natalie is not 18; she is 24.
I know.
What do you think about that?
Well, coming out of the house, I've realized that Ronnie is not a teacher, and I've been saying that for a long time. I learned that Michelle has a PhD, and I've learned that I was the youngest cast member. Natalie was really 24, and that she is a Taekwondo champion. So it's crazy. I knew that would be the case. I knew that people typically always do that, so I was interested to find this stuff out. But, you know, learning all that, I think Natalie has even better of a shot because I was on to Michelle and I was on to Ronnie. I had no idea about Natalie.
Well, you know what? We'd like to say thank you for coming on to our show, and sorry you didn't make it longer.
I know. Thanks.
And Laura,
so nice to talk to you
do you have
both.
Do you have a Facebook or anything?
Yes, I have Facebook.
We would love to schedule you for a full segment on our show, if that'd be okay.
Yeah, cool. I have Facebook. You can find me on there.
Thank
but
you,
as
Laura.
always, all things go through CBS, and we've talked about this. So, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen.
All right.
Thanks, girls.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.